Welcome back to Real Clear Politics on Sirius XM. I'm Tom Bevan, co-founder and president of RCP, joined now by Dean Cain, an actor, director, producer, writer, and now apparently, Dean, a soon-to-be member of ICE. Tell us about how did this come to pass? You made the announcement the other night on Jesse Waters' show, and a lot of people were stunned by it. How did this come down?
So it happened. I partially blame this on Jesse because what happened was I know a lot of officials in this administration, including ICE and certainly law enforcement, because I'm a sworn deputy sheriff in Frederick County, Virginia. I am a reserve police officer in Pocatello, Idaho. For almost a decade now, I've been serving as law enforcement. It's not my everyday job, and I do it on the side and whenever I can, and I support our men and women in uniform. Well, ICE was doing their recruitment video, so I put out a video to help with the ICE recruitment. And maybe the way I worded it or whatever I did, but people thought that I had joined ICE. And it kind of blew up into this crazy ridiculousness that happens in this world these days. And so I spoke to some of my contacts at ICE and I said, hey, look, this thing has gone crazy. Why don't we just do it? Swear me. I'll come in. I'll do whatever you want. And they said, you know what? Not a bad idea. So after speaking with ICE and you know, maybe an honorary ICE officer, but the point that I'm trying to make by joining is that these are amazing and wonderful Americans doing a very patriotic and wonderful job deporting illegal people here in the United States, starting with the worst of the worst, and they need to be stood up for. They're being vilified by Congress. They're being vilified in the media. They're being vilified by, you know, paid protesters and anarchists and people of that nature. And the same thing as when I joined up with the police force, when they wanted to defund the police. I thought this is the dumbest idea ever. And I think it's dumb to vilify our ICE agents. They've had a 1,000% increase in attacks on ICE and ICE agents and violence toward them. So I'm standing firmly in their corner. And I wanted to make a loud pronouncement that I'll step up, and so should so many of our patriotic Americans. And they've already had over 80,000 applications to join up. So they got rid of the age ceiling. They did a lot of things to make it more.
I saw that. I saw they're now promoting like father and son. You know, it's like,
hey man, I'd like to think I had something to do with it.
I was gonna say. So, how old are you, Dean? You're a couple of years older than me. We go way
baby.
back. Just full disclosure, Dean and I played football at Princeton back in the day. He was actually pretty good. I was not. But so how old?
59, baby.
59.
Just passed.
And so they've removed the caps and they're taking basically anybody who is in, obviously you have to pass some sort of physical test.
Yep. Physical.
And
you have to do not physical, not just a physical exam, but you have to pass their physical endurance test and so on and so forth. Physically fit.
But 80,000 people for 10,000 applications, that seems like they're off to a pretty good start. So do you have any more details about what this is going to, you mentioned your work as a honorary and reserve police officer.
No, those are fully sworn as a sheriff. That's not honorary.
Okay, sorry. But in terms of like what this is going to require you, are you going to put other projects on hold? Are you just going to do this when you can? Do you have any idea like in what capacity you'll be functioning for ICE yet?
I don't know at this point in time. It depends on Director Lyons. Whatever he wants me to do, I'll do. I imagine my most productive use of my time and or talents would be doing PR and talking about how wonderful our men and women of ICE are and what they're trying to accomplish and the kind of awful criminals they're removing off our streets, gang members, murderers, rapists, you name it. Then they're getting thousands and thousands and thousands of them out of here. You know, doing that job is probably where I'm best suited. But listen, it's not like I can't strap it on and go chase somebody down or do whatever it takes. So
still got it.
I can tackle people. I've done it before. There's my little Princeton figurine right there, baby.
There you go.
So I can still make that hit. I maybe not be able to track somebody down as I used to be able to do, but there's all sorts of positions that are necessary within ICE. And if I end up just being a mouthpiece, fine with me. But I hope to get sworn ASAP and continue to support our wonderful agents and get more and more people involved.
You know, it has been, Dean, one of the things we've seen in the media, and there was just this discussion last night on, I was watching a clip of Scott Jennings on CNN talking
He's the
about, he was going
best.
at it with Anna Kasparian over ICE agents, and the fact that Democrats have been calling them the Gestapo, and really the rhetoric surrounding ICE agents has gotten pretty heated. And as you mentioned, an increase in the number of people who are attacking them, and illegal immigration, it seems like still has pretty broad support, especially for removing people who are have committed crimes, not just a crime of coming across the border, but have actually committed actual crimes. And I just wonder whether that's a good argument for the Democrats to be making. It seems like they haven't quite learned some of the lessons from 2024.
Look, just yesterday, Jared Moskowitz, who I think is a congressman from Florida, posted about me joining ICE. He posted a $50,000 signing bonus is the biggest, signing bonus Dean Cain's ever gotten. I, and I was just stunned. I said, this is a sitting U.S. congressman who is belittling federal officers and federal law enforcement and,
Right. He
and
thinks he's dunking on
patriotic
you, but he's actually
Americans.
dunking on all of them.
100%. And he's insulting them. Every single one of these patriotic Americans who does join up, these are very valuable people to all of us here on the streets. These are the people who are protecting you every single day. Yet Jared Moskowitz, I think that's his name, he wants to belittle me for joining up. He wants to discourage patriotic Americans from joining federal law enforcement to uphold the laws that Congress passed. And that's the crazy thing to me. If you think our immigration system is broken, go ahead and fix it, Jared Moskowitz. Go ahead. I haven't seen as a bill to change the way immigration is enforced here in the United States. I haven't seen anything like that. I hear just a lot of yip yap and talk to own somebody or try, but do something for the American people. Really change the law, change immigration. We are the most immigrant friendly country on this planet by far, without a doubt. And people obviously they do this on purpose. They mix up, immigrant and illegal immigrants. Legal immigrants are loved in America. Yeah, loved, supported, appreciated. Bring them. We take it over 1 million a year. That's the greatest, more than the next four countries combined. And we are super immigrant friendly. But painting this picture as though we're not is crazy. Vilifying our law enforcement is crazy. Jared Moskowitz, that if I said his name right. I mean, it's craziness. But that sort of rhetoric has been flying around. That allows people on the interwebs to say the most ridiculous stuff to me, like, "Oh, you can't get a job, so he can't get a job acting, so he's doing this and what a blah 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 blah. You're the worst Superman ever." I'm trying to support Americans and protect this country. That's all I'm trying to do.
I was going to ask you. I mean, I know you left LA a couple of years ago for Las
Quite
Vegas,
happily.
but yeah, obviously you're still connected in the industry. Got a lot of friends. I mean, have you heard from anybody, or gotten any negative reactions from any of your friends, or is that stuff sort of like, because you've been sort of an out Republican conservative for a number of years, that stuff doesn't come your way anymore, or when it does, it doesn't bother you at all?
Well, it doesn't bother me. I'll tell you that right now. It sometimes shocks me when people are overtly offensive on social media. But my friends, so I've gotten overwhelmingly positive responses from people that I know and friends of mine. Overwhelmingly, thank you for stepping up. Thank you for supporting our men and women in ICE. Thank you for doing that. I wish there were more voices, et cetera, et cetera. I have had a number of my friends who are on the other side of the aisle reach out to me and want to have a sincere discussion. And this hasn't happened, in years where we politically disagree. And they're like, "Hey, man, tell me why." But they said, "Why ICE? Why are you doing this? What's the situation?" And they are genuinely interested to learn. One of my friends called me and was talking about having moved to Encino, and there were a bunch of gangs running around just robbing houses over and over and over. And there was illegal cartel gangs, and nobody had done anything. And then it got cleaned up because it affected them directly. And here was a person who's like, I just want to know. I want to learn. I want to know because they're getting so much from one side saying that, ICE is the Gestapo, et cetera, and not enough from the other side. So I like to hear that people are opening up. Hollywood people don't say anything much to me because that's Hollywood. You know how to say F you in Hollywood? Trust me.
Well, but I was going to
It's
ask you
true.
about that as you pull back. I mean, I was thinking about this. Like, have you noticed a change in, I see some people who have been red pilled. I'm thinking of like Justine Bateman and Jillian Michaels and some of these folks who have basically said, "Look, I'm liberal, but what's going on in California is crazy town, right?" Have you noticed is that part of a larger sort of shift, or are those kind of still the exceptions to the rule?
I think it's part of a larger shift, but I'm also the eternal optimist, and I hope that people wake up and see what's going on. So when I see Jillian Michaels speaking very eloquently, and Justine Bateman tweeting very eloquently, I love it. I love to see it. I love to see more and more voices. Someone's got to stand up. And when people start standing up, it gets easier to stand up. So the more folks who can do so, God bless them. I've been standing up for a while. I'm not trying to martyr myself or anything of that nature. I just felt called to do so and to speak to what I thought was right as a father, as a family man, as a Christian, as a United States citizen. And I travel the world. People are like, "Well, you never leave." I'm all over the world. I've been to 56 countries. I've had a home in Europe for over 20 something years. I see it and around. And sort of the groundswell I feel is people wanting to get back to common sense. They realize they've been manipulated. Realized they've been fed a laundry list of baloney, and they're sick of it. They just want to take care of their families, have good, safe communities, and the ability to earn. That's it. And so I'm finding that sort of common sense all across the board. And today, Gina Carano, settled with Disney, or tomorrow or yesterday or whatever it was, for them booting her off of a very inoffensive and accurate tweet. Now they're going to censor me. Um, and
I
they
think
paid
no,
her.
but I think that this is part of the thing. Like cancel culture is over. It doesn't, people like Justine Bateman maybe 10 years ago wouldn't have felt like she could speak up or tweet that kind of stuff. And now she's just kind of like, you know what? People are over it, I think.
I hope so, because cancel culture is a cancer. It's ridiculous. People should be free to say what they want to say, whether it offends people or not, and they should stand up for their beliefs and respect them. The one thing I really like about now is it seems like people, even the fact that when I joined ICE, I'm getting calls from, ABC and CNN and I know they want to make hit jobs, do a hit job on me and go after me, but at least they're calling and wanting to have different voices on their shows. I think they've realized that the echo chamber certainly isn't working. So have disparate voices, have different opinions and be respectful to those different opinions. Like I'm respectful. If I disagree with somebody, okay. Every once in a while I might toss a savage meme out there or something like that. But I'm respectful. If somebody doesn't agree with me, okay, that's fine. But here's why I think it's important. And as a result, I don't hate you or vilify you. I just disagree with you politically. Let's go have a drink. Let's go have a meal. Let's share some coffee and just chat. And
Yeah.
that's happening more and more now, and it should.
Well, that's good. That is good. All right, we've got to leave it there. Dean Cain, as I said, actor, producer, writer, former Superman, one of the best Supermans, honestly. Come on, let's be real about this.
There we
And
go.
now soon to be ICE agent. Dean, thanks for joining me. Appreciate it. Good talking to you, brother.
Tom, it's always a pleasure, brother. Thank you.
All right. And that's going to do it for us. On behalf of Carl and Andy, I'm Tom Bevan, co-founder and president of RCP. You've been listening to Real Clear Politics on Sirius XM. We'll see you back here on Monday. Have a great weekend.